Did you know that Stranger Things is loosely based off of a true story? Before Stranger Things became Stranger Things, the first draft of the screenplay was originally called Montauk. The reason it was called Montauk is because it was loosely based off of a conspiracy theory named the Montauk Project. Back in the 90s, a book by a man named Preston Nichols was released titled The Montauk Project: Experiments in Time. This book talked about a real-life army base that was supposedly running experiments on children that were allowing them to use telekinetic powers to travel through dimensions. Sound familiar? At the time, there had been a few theories here and there, especially during the 80s, about this project existing, but this book really boosted it into popularity. Preston Nichols is this guy here. He basically said that there was this base called Camp Hero, and this is what it looked like. This is Camp Hero. Look familiar? It was a fairly normal airbase, or so people thought, and then they went underground and discovered scary things. Preston Nichols said that there was a chair, they called it the Montauk chair, and supposedly if you were to sit someone in it that had these telekinetic powers, they would be able to do lots of cool things. One of the things being, if you put a bit of hair in someone's hand, they would be able to feel, see, and hear the person's hair that you put in their hand. So for example, you take a lock of my hair and give it to this random person in the chair, they would be able to find me. Sound familiar? Yes, that's what Elle does, essentially. Obviously, they don't use hair in the show, they use just her knowledge of the person, I guess. Anyway, one day, Preston Nichols decided that he was sick of the abuse that was taking place on these kids that were locked up in this facility. They were abused, they would be starved, they would be left in really hot rooms and then really cold rooms. And him and a lot of the other workers at this base decided that they were going to free them. When someone was in this chair, the Montauk chair, they could make things become reality. And their plan was to make something scary appear to get everyone out the base and let these kids go free. However, it somewhat went wrong. Nichols said that one kid that they tried this theory on created a big, large, scary monster that appeared in the base and started destroying things. Sound familiar? They couldn't do anything to stop it, so they destroyed all the machinery that they would use on these kids to send it back to its own dimension. This supposedly worked, the base got covered up, it was filled with cement, so there's no existence of it supposedly. And the reason it took so long for Nichols to write this book is because he forgot, and he had these repressed memories that supposedly came to him during the 90s. Then years later, the Duffer Brothers discovered this theory and decided to write a TV show based off of it. There's more to this theory, so if you want a part 2, let me know.